Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwadler, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today, we have the great pleasure of meeting with Sherilyn Castleman. She is Chief Learning Officer for Sisters in Sales. Welcome, Sherilyn.
Thank you, Gerhard. It's my pleasure to be here.
You are leading a heroic effort in teaching Black saleswomen to master sales, but not only that, but getting access to the C-suite.
One of the things that I learned early in my career is that it takes the same effort. I started out selling in the insurance industry, and it took the same effort for me to sell a $5,000 burial policy as it took to sell a $100,000 policy, as it took to sell $1 million policy for estate planning. The commission on a $5,000 policy versus a $100,000 policy versus $1 million policy is so different. So one of the things I wish I had learned earlier in my sales career was how to sell into the C-suite. When you sell into the C-suite, you close deals faster, your sales cycle is shorter, the deals are larger, and it's a different conversation. Understanding finance is so critical. If you're going to have a conversation in the C-suite, it has to include ROI as well as you have to understand finance as a sales tool.
How do you help sisters in sales overcome their imagined barriers where they say, but I look different?
One of the first things that I do is I talk to women about what their goal is and what their vision is. So I will say to them, just like I would ask you, Gerhard, if I gave you a realistic magic wand, what would your wish be? And so if you told me, your wish would be to have 400 people at your next Selling Power 3.0 conference. And then I said, okay, Gerhard, we can make that happen. That's really easy. What is your wild wish? Well, you might say, well, my wild wish is to have 1,000 people. And I say, okay, Gerhard, we can make that happen. But what is your fantasy? Well, then your fantasy might be, not only do I want 1,000 people, but I want them to walk away saying this was the greatest conference. That's really what you want. And so that's what I teach women of color. That's what I teach Black and brown women is what is it that you really want? You don't just want to sell into the C-suite. Do you want to be articulate, intelligent, and respected when you sell into the C-suite? Do you want to sell into the C-suite so that you're increasing your revenue so that you can provide a better life for your children? Once people get clarity about what's important to them, then they can overcome those obstacles. So what I do with women is help them understand what really drives them, what is motivating them, and then remind them that as Black and brown women, you have been adapting. You have been very creative your entire life. We're going to leverage the things that you do well, and I'm going to teach you about sales. You put the two together, you're going to be unstoppable. And it helps you overcome the no. Like I tell people, I say, thank you for the no, because every no gets you closer to the yes. And in sales, we know that. So what I help women do is get comfortable with the no. Say thank you when somebody says no to you. It gets you closer to the yes. Think about abundance. Know that not everybody is going to say yes, but every no means that somebody else is going to say yes. So get comfortable with the no. Know that you belong in the room. Even though people may not look like you, I know what it's like to get on a plane with 8 of my colleagues, all white males, fly out to a client for an RFP and walk in the room, and there are 11 white males in the room. I know what it's like to be the only person of color in the room and the only woman in the room. Doesn't mean you don't belong there. You belong there as much as everybody else. And another secret I tell them, nobody else in the room knows everything. So you have to walk in the door and be talking strategically about them, about their long and short-term goals. I've been coaching a team of women whose company just went through a merger, and they came out with a brand new product. They're first to the market. It's one of the best products. It's been in the market for a couple of weeks. And I said, by now, your marketing team should be able to tell you what about ROI. Go back and ask your marketing team what the ROI is this. What is the financial benefit? You can then sell this into the C-suite so that you're not selling it across a brand here, a brand here. If your product is first to the market and it's an incredible product, you go into the C-suite. Once they understand it aligns with their vision and financially what the ROI is, they will pick up the phone and tell procurement, we want this for everybody.
How can people learn more about you?
They can check out my site, Masterful Selling. You can also go to SherilynCastleman.com. I also am the Chief Learning Officer for Sisters in Sales. The other thing that I encourage people to do is connect with me on LinkedIn. One of the things that I want is to help Black and brown women master sales, but I also want them to help manage their careers. Additionally, I have a new book out called Post-Pandemic Selling, 5 sales strategies for these times. And you can check out the book on Amazon. It's called What's in the Cards, or you can go to postpandemicselling.com and learn about the book. It made the top 100 women in business sales books. So that's how you can connect with me and find out more about my mission and my commitment to help people achieve sales mastery.
Well, thank you, Sherilyn, for sharing your insights and your positive energy. And I commend you for elevating the profession of selling by bringing more Black and brown women into the business of sales.